Yo! Well, that was kind of... I meant for that to just be yo, but it came out kind of like, in those ninja video games. There's always some dude off screen in at least one level who goes, yo! Which probably there's probably a cultural reason for that. But if that's what is it like in Japan when they have video games that have American levels? Is it just Old West, like saloon music? That'd be really interesting to see America filtered through the lens of, oh, hello there, friends, multiple, plural friends. Out for a stroll, are we? With your little pig friend up there. Of course, why not? Why wouldn't there be? Wait a minute, I should go check on the dome. In fact, I should go plant in the dome. That's a good reminder because I don't want ghasts to spawn there. Nope. Yes, there we go. I can make more trees from those trees, in fact. That's the magic of nature. I wonder what North Korean video games are like. Can you fucking imagine? Like playing as a North Korean soldier in a shitty knockoff 8-bit video game? I think that would be kind of enchanting. This should work. This should work, and then I just have to put the torches in different places. I should also... Oh, I want to go fucking get some bone powder. But I can't, because my chubby marshmallow friend out here... Wait, why do they have gills? Are those gills, or are they just fat folds? I've seen people with those at water parks, where their skin just kind of folds back on itself multiple times. It looks like a pack of hot dogs. Like on the back of their neck or underneath their arms. Tantalizes my boner something fierce. This is another fucker who can't see me. Thank goodness. I think I'll just live inside for the rest of my life. My first inclination when I was 12 years old and got my computer for the first time was correct. There's no need to go outdoors ever again. That's what VR is for. That's the realization of the age-old dream of vanishing outdoors forever. He's really determined to fucking keep me in here, isn't he? Oh, you want to get me? You want to get me, but you can't. I'm gonna take my pants down a little bit and press my tender hams, against the glass. You like that? You like what you see? You want me to cut off a piece of this for you, but you can't get in here. You can't. I'm gonna wiggle. Oh, gross! It left like an ass print. Whatever. Perhaps future technology will be able to reconstruct me from the DNA left in those ass prints. I almost wish they could tell I was in here, but wouldn't shoot their fireballs just so they'd be constantly pissed off. Maybe they can. Maybe that's why they hang out here. Oh, I saw some other guy who's also colonizing the Nether, but he's doing it more intelligently than me. Apparently, he did his homework and found out that ghasts and pigmen and other creatures of the Nether cannot spawn over half slabs of cobblestone. So he just fucking carpeted the entire area for like a mile around his settlement with half slabs of cobblestone. And nothing spawns there. I mean, that's not as cool a solution, I don't think. Because, I mean, it's functional, it's utilitarian, it achieves the desired outcome of no more these fuckers. but it doesn't look cool. It doesn't look like a colony would normally look, which is like a bunch of protective buildings that insulate you from the surrounding environment. I like my way better for gay LARPing, for role playing, and imagining I really am in the Nether and trying to settle it. His way is probably better for if you wanted to build something really big and elaborate in the Nether and didn't want ghasts constantly. The other thing is half slabs and steps, which is the other block type he used, do not get damaged by gas fireballs. I don't think that's the only block type that doesn't get damaged, but those are some of them. So he could be shot at constantly. Just fireballs could be raining down on him, and it would make no difference. I should have been timing this. What I need now are more trees, and I need bone meal. How do I get bone meal? Maybe if I go fight skeletons. You would think that the Nether would be the place to do that. But you would be wrong. So I was thinking about the fucking conundrum of how human can a robot, how much squishy biological stuff can you put into a robot before it gets fucked up to have that robot be a property that you can own. And I got started thinking on can't talk right now. Brain uploads. Like everybody and their dog has thought about that now thanks to Soma. But there's a lot of issues in Soma that are raised but never acknowledged or addressed. Like for example, in Soma, artificial intelligences are based on a stripped down brain scan of a human, so it's already self-aware, but they just take away all of its memories so it doesn't know who it was, and then they put in their own information. Is that fucking kosher? How is that okay? But then is it still if you take away the memories and it's just like raw consciousness, is that a person? Can it be a human but not a person? Because I would say that as people, we're defined in large part by our life experiences, which form our personalities. But if you have a human being with no memories of anything, then that's basically just a baby. That makes it wrong, I think, because you're basically messing with a baby's brain and putting in all the information you want it to have to be able to do a useful job. It's still self-aware, and it's still human. It's based on the human brain. Would you be comfortable with that? With having a program that runs on your desktop that is part of how it works, and how it works so well at doing whatever it does is that it contains a brain scan of a person who is no longer alive? And every time you fire up that program to do whatever it is you want, like write a song for you or something, that person gets instantiated, like they're alive, but they're not really conscious. They don't, or whatever. Maybe the program is set up so they are conscious, but it's set up to fool them the same way every time into doing what you want them to do. Like maybe it makes them think that they have a career as a musician, and they think that they're in their apartment writing their new song, when in fact, once they finish, the program just shuts down and resets them to the state of their mind before you ran the program, and you get the song, and that's yours to keep. And like every program that requires human level intelligence is just an encapsulated brain upload, like a brain scan, with whatever surroundings it needs in order to convince that brain scan to not realize that it's in a simulated environment and just do whatever the program is advertised to do. I hope that's not what I'm in right now. This is like Philip K. Dick kind of stuff. He was a paranoid tweaker who was always wondering, am I really human, or am I in some kind of situation like that that's designed to fool me into believing I'm human? Are my memories real? Am I really me? Stuff like that. The dissociative thoughts that you have on that particular substance, or so I've read. There are some things even I know better than to get within 10 feet of. What did I need? Bone meal. Bone meal. That would be like the most depressing hell. To think that you're having a real successful life over and over, only for you to be reset every time once you've produced something somebody else wants. Then again, isn't that working in the music industry? Oh, social commentary. Kind of. Like, imagine that you're a lazy journalist for Kotaku or something, and you want to knock out an article. So you fire up a program on your computer, and the program is the brain scan of some guy who was a writer of articles like that, like 100 years ago, and it gives him a virtual body, so he thinks he's a human, and puts him in a virtual workspace where he thinks he has a job doing this sort of stuff, and gives him all the memories up to that point necessary to not suspect anything's amiss, and lets him go and lets him write the article. I guess it would be the same article every time unless you changed like input influences. So you'd say it has to be an article about boats. So you'd have the boss come up and say, oh, it has to be about boats, the virtual boss, and that would influence him to write an article about boats. Or it has to be about birds, or, you know, that sort of thing. And this scan makes the article for you, and then you shut down the program, and he ceases to exist until you need him again. Is that okay? I mean, arguably, he's not suffering because he doesn't know the situation he's in. He's not suffering. In fact, he could be having a good time. It would just only be 2 hours of living the good life before he goes back into oblivion. Oh, grow faster, you fucking grass. God damn it. While I wait for this, I can go grow some grass in the other enclosure. I don't know if I'm the only one who notices this. I guess because I stumble around making controversial statements without thinking about the consequences. But everybody on the internet thinks they're a cop now. I don't mean literally like a police officer, but I think they assume for themselves the right to dictate to somebody else what opinions they're allowed to have. And they get threatening. And they do extra legal stuff, not extra as in very legal, but as in outside of the law, to punish you for not doing what they want. Like if you have an opinion that's not politically correct, a lot of times social justice people will go and try to contact your family about it. Which, you know, the only family I have on Facebook is in frickin' prison, so I don't tell them that because then they think that they got one over on me, but it goes nowhere and she'll never read it. Or eventually she'll get out of prison and fucking read her Facebook inbox and be like, who are all these crazy people? She won't be in a position to judge me though because she's in fucking prison. But it's for stuff that only they care about. Like they think my family's gonna be outraged that I don't have the correct opinion on fucking cultural appropriation. Who are these people that assume because they live in a bubble with only friends who think the way they do, so they assume everybody in the world is like them. And then they assume the authority that they don't have to punish you like they're a police officer for not agreeing with them. They punish, and the reason they do that is the same reason that you get the same reaction from intensely religious people who have never been exposed to non-believers, so they're not acclimated, and they respond in a very sensitive and defensive and aggressive way, even to the mere encountering somebody who doesn't believe the way they do, because it makes them feel shaken, and they project that feeling onto you as if you did something wrong, as if you deliberately caused them to feel that way. Cultists, man, whatever form they take, I don't like them. And they never try to defend themselves. They assume stuff about you, like that you're a this or a that, and then they say, well, you're in a cult too, and they're never right because I have views they've never heard of. And the other thing is, attacking me is not the same as defending your own point of view. They never bother trying to defend their point of view because they were never taught how to. They were taught other tactics they can use to shut people up and drive them away without ever having to actually defend their beliefs. Because there is no way to defend their beliefs. It's just an opinion about the way the world should be. They can't say exactly why it should be that way. They've just been taught that to use there's some long German word for it. Basically, the East German military used the same tactic, Zersetzung or something like that, where they would try to either find out something embarrassing about you, or they would try to coax you into embarrassing situations. Like if their target was homosexual, they would try to bait that person into having a rendezvous with a male operative, and then they'd take photographs of it. And then they would use that to humiliate you and drive you out of public life, so that you wouldn't have any. You would no longer say anything against the government, or if you did, nobody would listen to you. And that's what the social justice warriors are doing, because they literally are. In most cases, if you look at their Tumblr, they say that they are a communist. It's not just being paranoid. It's not accusing them in a hyperbolic way of being commies. They literally identify themselves as commies. The only objection they have is they don't think there's anything wrong with that. What is this shit, dude? Nazis versus commies again? I feel like we've already been through this. This is some major deja vu. Can we have something new? Can we have, like, robot liberationists versus, like, genetically engineered mutants or something? I don't want to retread the same battles over and over. I guess I could use some of the bone. I don't really want to waste it on that. Do I have any left? No, I don't. I already used it all. I should go get more. What I really want at this point is to grow some fucking trees in that dome. Because every minute there are not trees in that dome is a chance for gas to spawn in there. And I am paranoid as shit about gas, with good reason. If you recall my old base, I had to leave it. I'd abandoned it because there was a gas. Do you see a Lightspeed burb? Teleporting. Burb army! I bring you a gift of the roasted bodies of other birds. They still like it. They like it anyway. They're still loyal. Wish I had more seed. I want to tame this one too. What's up, little dude? Want to eat this dead bird body? Put it in your mouth. Eat it. No, not like that. Eat it. That's sick. What's wrong with you? Oh shit! Birds attack! Chicken attack! Chicken attack! Chicken attack! Watch your back before it fades to black. You may look harmless, but I'll kick your non-chicken ass. Go chicken go. Go chicken go. Can't yodel. My great regret in life. If only I had majored in yodeling. I'd be raking in the big bucks now. I could have invested in Yodel coin. There's still time. I could still invent Yodel coin and then invest in it. That would surely not be a meme currency. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Omewa Shinderu. Don't judge me. Squids are all, if you read their minds, like with some kind of machine, mind reading machine, I guarantee they're flat earthers. So it's okay. It's okay to kill flat earthers. You throw away what you can't fix. That's almost brutal enough that I could start a black metal band now. Seriously, I don't think it's a crime to be wrong about something, but I think it is a crime if you're really obviously wrong and people try to help you and you fight them. Right? Then again, that's probably what the SJWs are thinking. I think all this started, I became aware of this shit with Donglegate, where there were two white tech guys and they were making dongle jokes, and Adria Richards, whose job is to be a professionally offended activist, basically, was sitting in front of them, and she was not involved. She was eavesdropping and took a photo of them without their permission, knowing it would get them fired. And these were fathers who had children they needed to feed. I think they got jobs elsewhere. I hope so. And that's just fucking mean-spirited, vindictive overreaction to a fucking dongle joke. It's like, at that point, it's like, are you human? Do you have a sense of humor? Can I see an x-ray of you to make sure you're not some kind of robot or lizard person who doesn't understand human jokes? Okay, I need bone meal and I need seeds to tame more burbs. Yeah, she's hardly alone. There was this post on Reddit that fucking infuriated me. I read all the sites, and all the sites hate me for reading the other sites. It's funny. But it was one of those women's empowerment programming houses where they all live together and they code together. But it was about, there were a couple men, and they got together and agreed to get one of the guys fired because he was socially awkward and didn't talk to the women and avoided them and just stayed in his room and programmed. And it's like, that's called autism. You fucking NT bitch. A lot of men in programming are autistic. If it makes you uncomfortable, that is entirely on your end. There's a problem with your perception, not with the person themselves. I was angry about that for a good solid 6 or 7 minutes. I think I found a video of a baby chimp riding backwards on a pig. So my anger kind of petered out after that. But it's worth being mad about. There's not always a fucking baby monkey riding backwards on a pig when you need him. Let's see. I think I'll find some fucking Skelemans down here. I could have sworn I put... Oftentimes I just put trash in there, even though I know I shouldn't. I'll just put whatever's in my inventory that I don't want in the smelting chest, just because there's a lot of empty space and it's handy. Which is a bad fucking habit after I went to all that trouble to organize my storage. But yeah, that's kind of the same question as simulationism, except on a smaller scale. It's not saying what if the whole universe is simulated. It's like, what if only the room around you and your body are simulated, and only long enough for you to create something that the program you live inside of is designed to accomplish, and all your memories of life before that and the world outside of this room are just included so that you don't know that you're in a program. I have to write about that. Why am I sharing good ideas in a video like this? That's the kind of shit that'll haunt you, though, because it would mean that your world could end at any minute. You wouldn't have any warning. It's kind of a weird thought that little people could live inside programs. It's like how when you're a kid, you think that the way that ATMs work is there's a little dude who lives inside and counts the cash. Like that, but in real life and with programs on your computer. And instead of there being a physical little man inside the computer, it's a brain scan that's part of the program. I hear a skeleton. Where are you, Skeleton Man? Skeleton Man? I want your bones. Oh, so now you want the bone. Not that kind of bone, Skeletor. As if you get to choose. What was the deal with Man-at-Arms? Oh, you want the inside info on my enemies now? Yes. Send nudes first. No, just tell me. All right. He was just a guy with arms. That was his entire power. You can do that? Yes, Man-at-Arms. He had 2 arms, which could do incredible things like lifting small rocks and wielding weapons designed to be held in a human hand. Well, why did they hire him? The standards were low! Once the public figured out that He-Man was normally Prince Adam, the gayest looking man in Eternia, they were hard up for new employees. Nobody wanted to join. Except Man-at-Arms. Except Man-at-Arms. And you know why that is. He and Prince Adam, they were close. In the Greek sense. In the Greek, Greco-Roman, oiled-up wrestling kind of sense. Well, and you were cool with that? Cool with it? I watched from the bushes every time. It was the highlight of my Saturdays. My goodness. Well, how about that? Sometimes Orko got involved. Huh. And that little fucking cat from Thundercats that kept going snarf, snarf. He got in there too sometimes. He was already naked. It's a time saver. Sometimes they would take Smurfs and put them up there. Okay, you know what? That's enough information. I'm sorry I asked. You can't handle the truth. So apparently, that Richard Spencer guy is doing the talk at a university, and I was watching this thing about his playbook. They're like trying to analyze his strategy, and they're saying, "Oh, well, he's causing all this violence, and we're attracting these protesters in order to disrupt classes." And I'm like, those are his enemies. He doesn't ask them to show up, and probably wishes they wouldn't. I I mean, the dude's a turd. The way you deal with people like that, though, is you ignore them. You deprive them of the attention that they need in order to spread their message. And they're totally fucking walking right into... Like, every fascist movement did that. They relied on provoking outrage so that a lot of people would show up to their rallies. That way, if there was violence, they could say, look, our enemies are violent people. That's not hard to figure out. You just have to not be retarded and play directly into their strategies. But then after seeing how shit went down at Berkeley, I'm probably giving them too much credit. This is a crazy time we live in. Nazis versus commies in 2017. Who would have believed that if you had a time machine and told people in the past there are Nazis versus commies street fights going on? In 2017, they'd be like, you have to have the year wrong. You're shitting me. I'm ready for some new shit. I want the ape people from Planet of the Apes versus, like, Terminators. I want that to be the street battles that we have in the future. I can't fucking seem to get any Skillamans. God, I'm glad college is over. You know what happened to me in college? There was this girl named Hannah who was really pretty. She was interested in me despite being pretty, which should have been a red flag. I was like, why is everybody staying away from her? And we got involved, and she started telling me about her ex-boyfriend who had done all this horrible shit to her. And it was abusive and a gaslighter and a sadist and a narcissist. So I go looking for that guy to fuck him up. Because I'm naive and I'm totally believing her side of the narrative. But when I find him, everybody tells me that he didn't do anything. His friends, even former friends of Hannah's, tell me that this is just what she does to guys who dump her. I wouldn't have probably believed them, except literally everybody I met, except for Hannah, told one story, and only Hannah told the other story. So when I hear shit like listen and believe, like campaigns that we're supposed to automatically believe a woman's side of the story, and that it's gaslighting if we don't, pardon my fucking skepticism. Nobody on Earth gets the right to be automatically believed about everything all the time. Otherwise, the fucking church would be the first one to make use of it. Probably they've already thought of that and are working on, like, a campaign about how you're a bad person if you don't believe what your priest says. Yeah, he was a nice... He went by Ducky, and he was a nice person. I'm glad that I didn't come out swinging, and I talked to him first, so I found out that he was not who she said he was. And I learned an important lesson upon that day about hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, which is the truest statement ever made. How about I didn't already tell the story? Because I've told the same stories over and over a couple times just because of my Alzheimer's. I don't actually have Alzheimer's, but I may as well. It's a good day when I leave the house with my pants on the right way around. Although on days when I don't remember to do that, I can always pass it off as ironic 90s fashion, because there was that time when everybody wore their clothes backwards because of crisscross. That's thinking on your feet. Yeah, I would not be comfortable working with any woman who has neon hair or who has social justice glasses. You know, the 1950s horn rim ones they all seem to wear? Mercifully identifying themselves to everybody else. I would not work with one of those people. Or if I did, I would not talk to them. But then they would say I was being a creep. Like that chick on Reddit, because I try to avoid them because I want to keep my job, and then I would get fired. Like, if you pay attention to them, then it's harassment, you get fired. And if you don't pay attention, then it's still harassment and you still get fired. There's no... The only winning move is not to play, I guess, which means you have to be homeless. Oh, no, no! Did I kill him? I think I killed him. Is that the same bat? I want to say it's the same bat, just so I don't feel bad. Which is a good reason to believe anything. No Skelemans. This has been a bust. I may as well delete this video. But I'm not going to. Do I have any trash to throw away? I don't think so. Oh, that one tasted like Chipotle. When did I eat Chipotle? I haven't eaten there in a long time because they charge like fucking $9 for burrito. I never enjoy it enough. I always think that was not $9 worth of culinary enjoyment. What am I doing? But then gradually, I forget that sensation. I'm like, was it really not that good? Because they look so good on the fucking billboards. It's like Jolt Cola. Like, I always forget how shitty Jolt Cola is. So I buy another one because it comes in the cool battery can. It actually tastes like battery acid, too. That's some fucking truth in advertising, is what that is. I hear a fucking Skeleman, yes! Welcome to your doom! You would think the Skeleman would be the one to say that, but no. I'm big on role reversal. Yes, 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 yes. I'm already practically a Skeleman. Like, I can do the Skeleman laugh. I'm pretty sure I qualify. Like, if I applied for that job. I'm gonna go look on Craigslist after this to see if there's anybody hiring somebody to be a Skeleman. And if they tell me I have too much flesh, they'll probably give the job to a fucking fashion model, because they're already mostly skeleton. That's thin privilege. Blurg, 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 fat sounds. Blur, blur, blur. Woo, woo. Whale sounds, also, while I'm at it. How come you never see fat acceptance shit from men? It's only women. Like, fat men are like, okay, yeah, I'm a little chubby and I need to do some exercises. It's always women. And they always have pictures of really ripped, thin guys on their profile. And I even saw a profile on Tumblr titled, Why Fat Women Shouldn't Have to Settle for Fat Men. Is Tumblr just for people who don't believe that they should have any responsibility of any kind? Because often these are the same kinds of people who will flip the fuck out and have an emotionally intense outpouring at the smallest provocation. Not that you said anything rude, but just something that personally offends them for some strange reason. And then they'll do and say whatever they want to you, and then after the fact, they expect there to be no repercussions. If you retaliate, God forbid you should retaliate, they'll focus 100% on your retaliation and forget that they did anything to provoke it. And if you're like, well, you started it, you provoked me, they'll say, oh, I provoked you, victim blaming. Which is actually a response I got to that. And you could say it's immature to care who started it, but it fucking matters. If somebody comes in and starts shit with me and I retaliate, I guess I can admit I'm wrong for escalating. It's never a good idea to escalate rather than de-escalate, but a lot of the times they don't allow you to de-escalate. A lot of the times they just want to be mad at you, and as if they can just heap anger on you and you'll stop existing. What are you supposed to do with somebody who refuses to forgive you when what you did was not even that big a deal in the first place? You can't ever tell them they're overreacting. That makes them flip out 6 times harder. I should go live on an offshore oil platform. There's only STEM dudes there. Although probably they have fucking diversity officers now just to make sure nobody tells an off-color joke, even though there's nobody around to get offended by it. And that's just their job, is to get offended for somebody on their behalf. Do we really have to side with those people or the Nazis? Do I have to choose? Because they sure make it seem that way. They put out a lot of memes that basically say, you're either with us or you're with the Nazis. I can't be with the Nazis, but I can't be with these fucking people who behave this way. What's up? You want to go? You want to go, brah? You want to go? We'll have to train 10,000 years more to challenge me. Where are you? Are you okay? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you? Into the corner, huh? What's in the corner? Something cool? No, literally nothing cool. You're not going to win any IQ awards, although that's not a thing. That'd be insufferable if there was such a thing. Fuck this. Now I have a magic pearl. Yippee for me. Let's see. I'm already way over time, so I'm just going to go back and I'm going to use the bone meal on one of the trees and try to grow it. And it'll either work or it won't, and that'll be the end of the episode. So, I didn't mean to get so political lately. It's just there's been this big fight in my life. It turns out that if you accuse a white woman who prides herself on not being prejudiced towards any groups, of being prejudiced towards men, for posting pretty much nothing but memes about how terrible men are, with government statistics about crimes committed mostly by men on her wall, that's gonna be a fucking nuclear explosion of drama. And not just her, but she'll go and turn other people against you and get her friends to join in. And pretty much the only way out of it, which is what I did, was to get in touch with the lawyer and have the lawyer send her a CND identifying instances of slander in her posts. That was a really rude awakening for me, that there are people like that, but there seems to be more and more. They're fucking multiplying. Which I don't know how they're doing that. They don't seem to have children. Oh yeah, back to the... That's fucking scary. Why are they... Why are there any people in the world who are that sensitive? And identifying something somebody says as prejudice is not attacking them. I don't think so. Maybe I'm a hypocrite, though, because that's also what fucking social justice warriors do. Although I don't mind them saying something that I said is bigoted. Often they're probably fucking right. I probably have all kinds of unexamined bigotries. And the thing is, bigotries are not necessarily like factually untrue. They're just unfair. They're holding people accountable for shit that other people did, just because you've had bad experiences with people who vaguely look like them, which is a legitimately shitty thing to do. So I want to know. You'll go ahead and fucking tell me if I do something like that. I'm not gonna flip my fucking shit. I might have an argument with you about it, but for me, an argument is not combat. For me, an argument is an academic matter where you sit and you talk, and you both show each other sources, and you arrive at a new balance where if that person has some good points, then they're not totally wrong, but one of you is probably more right than the other, and you both come away with a more accurate perspective on the issue. At least that's... And the thing that gets me is when they say, oh, you think you're so smart arguing in such a structured way like a rigid robot. And I'm like, no, that's how adults argue. That is how dialectic is supposed to work. You know, argument is not supposed to be a contest of emotions where you just emote at each other and whoever emotes most intensely wins. Where did they get the idea that that's how argument works? That's a disaster. That's starting to look really cool. I'm pleased I built this. This was a good location for it. I might clear some of this out because I don't like the rock being so close to the glass. It just looks wonky. I feel better having the trees there because now already there's not enough space for gas. I think even having one in the center accomplishes that. But probably when I harvest wood, I won't ever harvest a central tree just because that one prevents there from being enough space for gas. But I can go ahead and harvest trees around it and have this nice big expansive nature dome that I can also fucking frolic in. You know how I love to frolic. Hee hee hee! Tee hee hee! Tee hee hee hee! That was too many he's. One T and perhaps 4 or 5 he's. Any more than that is decadent. Anyways, that's all for this time. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll keep you up to date with pointless Facebook drama that you are not involved in and have no possible reason to care about. Are you not enticed?